Hey, wonderful people, welcome to my channel, The Honest Academy. My name is Justice. I hope we're all doing okay. So, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut that beautiful boo blouse you saw on the thumbnail, and I know that is what you would like to watch. If this is you, please kindly watch till the end. Join us on our Facebook group, The Honest Fashion Academy, and let's go. So for us to achieve this beautiful top, we need the following measurements. The top is quite simple. We need the following measurements. We need our round shoulder measurements. Round shoulder measurements. Take your own measurements. We need the widest part of our torso. It could be the waist. It could be the bust measurements. The hip is not needed here because the blouse or the top is not extended to the hip area. So in this case, we're making use of our bust circumference, which is going to be divided by 4. The round shoulder is also going to be divided by 4. Anyway, when we're cutting it, you're going to see how it's applied. So the next measurement we need our shoulder measurement, right? Then we need the length of our sleeve length, okay? And then we need the length of the blouse, okay? The length of the top, wherever you want it to stop. And of course, it's not going to extend to the hip, so it should be something at the waistline or a little below the waistline. So these are the measurements that we need, not so much. So whatever you have, add as your own measurements, and then see you on the drafting. Okay, so this is our pattern paper. If you look at this up, I kept 3/4 of an inch. You can keep up to 1 inch. It can be half an inch. This is an allowance that will help us to fold the neck part of the blouse. Okay, so you have to keep this allowance. Our measurement will begin from this line, but while cutting, we're going to cut everything together. I'm adding the allowance at the same time. So the next thing we're going to do is to measure our shoulder length from this edge. Our shoulder divided by 2 is going to our shoulder divided by 4. I'm using a smaller measurement, and here I have shoulder divided by 2, rather I have 4 inches. Okay, now from this part to, I'm going to measure round shoulder divided by 4. You know, the round shoulder is divided by 4, while the back shoulder is divided by 2. So our round shoulder here is 18. 18 divided by 4 is going to give us 9. So here I'm going to be marking 9. You can write it out so that you don't forget. This is shoulder, this is round shoulder. Okay, now the next thing we're to do is to mark the length of our sleeve. Now, while taking your sleeve measurement, you can start from the midpoint of your back shoulder line down to where you want your sleeve to stop. That will determine how wide your dress is going to be, your blouse is going to be. So we said our shoulder is our sleeve length is 8. So we're going to start that 8 from our shoulder measurement. From where the shoulder stops, we're going to measure the 8 inches, or you can equally extend it. Here is a small measurement, and that's why I'm using smaller numbers. So this is where the round shoulder will stop. That will determine how off you want the neckline to fall. And this is the sleeve length, and this is our shoulder line. So the next thing we're going to do is to measure the length of our blouse. What is the length of the blouse? Will it stop at the waist or just below the waistline? Here I'm going to use 8.5 as the sleeve length, and I'm going to mark it straight down to this sleeve line. So this is the length of the sleeve. and this is our sleeve length. It's going to stop at this point. Now the next thing we're going to do is to get the widest part of our measurement, which is the bust, and divide it into 4. Our bust divided by 4 is going to give us, we have 4 1/4, right? Then we'll add sewing allowance. Remember, this is the waistline. We add sewing allowance of ½ inch or 1 inch. Here I have 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so because the bulkiness of the blouse, I want it to have a slimmer body at this waistline. I'm going to come up by say 2 inches or thereabouts. If you're using a bigger measurement, you can take up to 3 inches up. Okay, but here I'm going to go up by 2 inches from the waistline. If you're using a bigger measurement, you can increase the number. Okay, so I went up here by 2 inches, and then from these 2 inches I'm going to be connecting to this line here, to this where the sleeve is going to be. This is the sleeve line, right? So I'm not going to take it up to exactly the sleeve area. I'm going to take it on a straight line, but then it has to be curved. Okay, it might not even get up to this 2 inches up. I will have to curve it at this place so that it doesn't have a very sharp corner there. All right, so I'm curving it, and it will then go on a straight, semi-straight to this point. Now the sleeve is going to have elastic, which will make it fit on the hand of the person who is wearing it. Okay, if it does not have a band, it will be very loose on the person. And on this point, you cannot measure the size of the the circumference of the hand or the arm, okay, because it's not a fitted something that has a band. It's going to have elastic, so it has to be very wide. Now you can decide for that the length of your sleeve of your blouse is going to be below the waistline. It's going to come down a bit, but not get exactly to the hip point. It's up to you to decide how you want to do it, but this is what we have. Okay, so this is it, and we are going to be cutting. Remember to mark where you have the shoulder, where you have the round shoulder, and where you have the sleeve point. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting this way up, and that's it. Then we'll sew it. Now one more thing is that at this waistline, remember we use the bust measurement, and the bust is quite bigger than the waist measurement. So we are going to fold this part, and we're going to be adding sewing allowance, so that in case you can add elastic to the waistline to fit the body very well. We're going to be adding elastic here, and we have sewing allowance of 1 inch below folding allowance, except you want to leave it like that. Okay, if you want to leave it like that, it's up to you. But here I'm adding the sewing allowance. So altogether now I have 3 inches up. By the time I fold here, it will balance up. So let me cut. So I'm going to get my organza fabric and place it on top and cut for back and front separately. Okay, so mates, this is the cutting of the top. Here is the front and here is the back, cut on fold. There is no opening at the back and there is no opening in front. Now there's a mistake I need to correct here. I said I was going to divide the round shoulder by 4, but I made a mistake to divide it by 2. So when we divide our round shoulder by 4, this is where it's going to be. right? And this is our normal shoulder, back shoulder divided by 2. Then at this point we have, this is no longer useful. Okay, so from our shoulder line we now measure down to where we want the sleeve to stop. I hope this is taken. So while cutting, we're going to make a notch at this part to know where the off shoulder um, starts from, so that we can be able to fold the neck area. We did not cut the neck area, but we're going to fold this allowance and bend it, then continue the joining down to the sleeve length. Okay, so I'll show you when I'm doing it. So this is front and this is back. Okay, you can see the separation. So here is at the upper line, and I'm going to pick from the sleeve length area this way. I'm going to pick this and this back and front together. And remember, we left 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to be sewing 3/4 of an inch down to this place that I notched the round shoulder measurement, right? And stop here. Then I'm going to start from this other side that I notched the off shoulder measurement 1 inch and sew it down. That's joining the sleeves together, and sew it down to this upper part. I hope it's clear. So I'm going to be joining one up for 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch, leaving this part open. From here I'm going to leave it open and leave this open. Okay, then I can now join this together. So after joining half and half here, this is what we have. Now this part is open. You're going to be using that to your allowance to fold this supposed neckline like this. Okay, we're going to be folding it double. You can iron it first so that it relaxes very well. Fold it this way. I'm going to iron it, fold this other part this way, okay, into two like this. So I'm going to iron it so that it will relax, and then I'll have to sew it across and continue and join it together. So once I'm done with here, the next thing is to join this part like I said before, then add elastic to our sleeve. It is just as simple as that. Then at the waistline too, after joining it, we're going to be adding elastic, okay, at the mouth of it this way. Remember where we kept sewing allowance, so adding elastic so that it becomes firm using our waist measurement. This top is just as simple as you're seeing it. I hope we can complete what is left to do. Okay, can complete what is left to do. So if you've watched this video this far, please subscribe to this channel and give us a thumbs up if you appreciate what is here. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing like this and notch so that it relaxes properly well. Thank you for watching up to this point. See you in our next video.